I get a lot of questions on this channel about my ileostomy reversal, and one of the most common ones is about if I could do it all over again, would I still have it done? So in this video, I'm going to help you make the best decision possible for yourself by letting you in on the decision making that I had about whether or not to get my ileostomy reversed and whether or not I still support that decision 5.5 years later after the surgery. If you're a new viewer and are wondering why I ended up with an ileostomy, let me introduce myself. My name is Jelena, and I was diagnosed with stage 3 rectal cancer in May of 2016. For my treatment, I went through 28 days of radiation and the oral chemotherapy Xeloda. I had a lower anterior resection, also known as LAR surgery, and during that surgery, I ended up with a temporary ileostomy to allow that resected site a chance to heal. I went through 8 rounds of the IV chemotherapy FOLFOX, and then I had my ileostomy reversed in June of 2017. Now let's go through some of the most important things that I considered and that you should too when deciding whether or not to reverse your ostomy. First, you need to know if a reversal is even an option for you. I went into my LAR surgery fairly confident that I was going to receive a temporary ileostomy. But I also knew that decision was ultimately up to my surgeon and what he thought was best once he got in there during my surgery. My surgeon created a temporary loop ileostomy during my LAR surgery, which means that my small intestine wasn't completely severed. So let me demonstrate what exactly that means using this tubing and my hand. So my hand is the abdomen wall, the tubing is the small intestine. So there's a slit that's made in your abdomen wall and a bit of your small intestine is pulled out through it, and a slit is cut in it so they can peel it open and the waste comes out. To do the reversal, they just sew that slit back up and basically shove it back inside. My surgeon told me after my surgery that my ileostomy was temporary, so I knew from day one that a reversal was an option for me. Once you know that you have the option to reverse your ostomy, it's time to weigh the pros and the cons. The first consideration is whether or not you even want to go in for another surgery. Every surgery has risks. So even though the reversal surgery should be less risky than that initial surgery you had to create the ostomy, you never 100% know how well it's going to turn out. If you generally handled the initial surgery well and didn't have any major complications, then you've got a good chance of the reversal surgery itself going well. But if you had a difficult time recovering from that initial surgery, had major complications, or it was discovered that you have some kind of condition that makes it difficult for you to recover from surgery, you'll want to take those into serious consideration. Are those risks worth the end result? Since you already have an idea of how your body reacts to surgery, you can talk with your surgeon and ask if there's anything that you can do to mitigate those risks before undergoing an additional surgery. I didn't have any complications after my LAR surgery. So I fully trusted my surgeon and the hospital to keep me safe in an additional surgery. So having one more surgery, although it wasn't really a pro, it definitely wasn't a con for me. The next thing to consider is how well are you handling your ostomy? How well have you adjusted to having the bag and getting back to the things in life that you enjoyed before you got it? How well is your skin handling the bag? I was accepting of my ostomy, but it was really active. I couldn't get it to slow down long enough to shower or do a bag change without poop coming out. I knew I had to be ready to clean the shower as soon as I got out if I ever showered without a bag on. I also knew to have plenty of tissues handy when changing my bag so that I could wipe up output as I was trying to change the bag. I tried a bunch of different tricks to try and get the output to slow down. Timing my meals, eating marshmallows, changing it at a different time of the day, but none of it seemed to matter. There was output coming out at a change, no matter how quick I was at changing that bag. I also developed a skin sensitivity to the adhesive on the barriers that I was using, so my skin was getting really red and raw. And since my ileostomy was so active, I couldn't just leave the barrier off and let the skin breathe for hours. So both the fact that my ileostomy was super active all the time and my skin was not happy about having a bag stuck to it all the time were 2 major pros for me to getting that reversal surgery. The next question to ask yourself is, how was your digestive system before the ostomy? I had a digestive system and stomach of steel pre-cancer. So I had faith that they would bounce back pretty well if I had my ileostomy reversed. I was also a once-a-day pooper and would be in and out of the bathroom in like 2 minutes. If I had had digestive issues pre-cancer and I was handling my ostomy well, I would have definitely considered keeping it. But since my digestive system had been strong, I consider that another pro to getting the reversal. Another thing to consider are the demands of your current job. I worked part-time virtually and could do my work at any time. I didn't have to be in long meetings at a specific time or be on demand during normal work hours. I wasn't limited to a 15-minute break at a specific time in the morning and in the afternoon. I knew I had the flexibility to go to the bathroom whenever I needed to, as many times as I needed, and for as long as I needed. That was a huge pro for me. If I had been working a full-time job where I had certain windows where I had to take my break and had a limited amount of time for those breaks, that could have been one in the con column for me. After taking all of those things into consideration and knowing that my digestive system was not going to be the same as it was pre-cancer, I decided to go through with the reversal surgery. Do I regret getting my ileostomy reversed? The short answer is no. I don't miss the constant output from the ileostomy or the red, rashy skin from having a barrier on 24/7. I don't miss hoping that a place has good water flow at the front of the toilet if I had to empty my bag away from home. I don't miss the middle of the night blowouts that led to 2 a.m. showers. I do miss bathroom visits only being 5 minutes long. But I am 100% happy that I got my ileostomy reversed. But on my bad days where the urge to have to pass a bowel movement persists all day long and I spend a good 1 to 2 hours on the toilet, I've thought to myself whether or not a colostomy would be worth it. And the answer is, I don't know. Would I be able to find a solution to the adhesive from the barrier irritating my skin? Would it give me the freedom to go hiking all day without having to worry about whether or not I needed to find multiple places in the woods or above tree line to poop discreetly? Would I be able to eat more vegetables, beans, and lentils without them making me feel like crap and regretting it for the next 24 to 48 hours? The surgery is not an easy one to recover from. And since there isn't anything visibly wrong with my colon, I'm not even sure if my insurance would approve it or not. The surgeon that did my LAR surgery and the reversal passed away over a year ago, so I would also have to go through finding a new surgeon to do this for me. All of these unknowns make me stick with the devil I know versus the devil I don't. I do have control of my bowels, so I don't have any accidents. I just have those bad days where I spend a lot of time on the toilet or thinking about how long I can hold off the next bathroom visit. It's annoying, especially since my bowels were never a problem before my cancer diagnosis. Now, full disclosure, when I started writing this script for this video 3 months ago, I started having a lot of bad days in a row and was seriously reconsidering whether or not I wanted to do this video because I was unsure if my happiness level with getting the reversal was actually that 100% that I mentioned at the beginning of the video. Ultimately, I feel like my opinion is the same. I am glad that I did go through with getting the reversal. The bad days are definitely not fun, but I can usually use medication to chill out my bowels on those days. If you're interested in hearing more about what it was like for me immediately after I got my ileostomy reversed, you can check out that video up here. Or if you want to hear more about what I eat from day to day after the ileostomy reversal, you can check that video out down here. Thank you for watching.